Hello folks, I'm Dan. Thought I'd share a little tip today that I think you might find useful for your build projects. I've been using this little toggle clamp for quite a while. I bought it at a swap meet at one of the air shows. And originally it had one of the jaws on it was this piece here. And the other one just had a flat steel jaw pressed into it. So it was like that. And it was well used when I bought it. And it's been a whole lot more used and abused since I've had it. I was putting together the flapper on skeletons and ended up and wrapped blue tape around it because the rubber end had come off, and it's just a 1/4 bolt is what it is with a rubber cap on top. And quite a while ago I bought some toggle clamps, and they're nice little clamps, not tremendously expensive, but I wanted them mainly to do things like assembling the spars for the flaperons or installing ribs on the main spar and that type of thing. So I wanted an offset in them. So I've actually always liked this clamp better because it's got an offset here. So you can come in underneath the edge of the spar. You can come into them like that, get around, and clamp them that way. So I've liked that better. And these standard clamps do not work as well for that. They just interfere. There's no place you can really get. You're interfering with your flange here, and it's just not a good solution. So I set in my toolbox, and I very rarely use them. They're okay for clamping flat pieces together, but if I'm going to do that, I normally just use a handy clamp. So what I ended up and did is I took some 1/4" 1/20 nylon bolts, just a standard bolt, and came from my local Ace hardware store, chucked them up in my little hand drill, my cordless drill, just like that, and took them to the belt sander and ran them. You want to run it in reverse so it's going against your belt. Just rounded the edges, and then I shortened it up, thinned it out a little bit. So you end up going from something like this to something like this. So you end up with a bolt like that. And then what I did is I went and took this standard clamp, took both the jaws out of them, and just removed both of the sets of jaws. And you just remove both jaws. Take the shorter of the two jaws, or the shorter of the two studs that go out, run the nut back up on that side of it, and reinstall it back into the insert in the toggle clamp. So there basically you've got an offset. So we're sticking out farther on this side. Then on the other side, I took my little nylon bolt that I modified, and run it back down in. Shortened up the threads on the other side because there's no reason for them to extend out. You can go ahead and extend your jaw out so it's like that and get your whatever clamping pressure you want within reason. Set your lock nut on the other side. In your jaws so that doesn't move. And there you now have an offset toggle clamp. Works really well. So once they're ground off, they look like that one right there. And to me, that's a whole lot more useful clamp because now it will fit around and clear that spar. Just barely. It almost contacts there, but it gives a nice clamping pressure. You can adjust your pressure. And there I've got a useful clamp. Other than have something that sat in the toolbox. On the other one, what I did is I did basically the same procedure. Took one, and there was no threads in this half of it, so I just ground it down, did a press fit in it. So I've got my nylon jaw on that side, and I took one of the longer studs out of the existing clamp that I had and replaced it into the other side. So I modified all three of those clamps. I had two of the newer ones and this little clamp. I made them all in, to me, what I consider a much more useful clamp system for, I think they were 30 cents a piece for the nylon nut. So anyway, there's a little tip for you. Hope that helps you with your build. If you find these videos helpful, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Leave any comments you've got for me, and give me a thumbs up if you like them. Thanks for taking the time to watch.